Welcome to the Scooby-Doo Super Duper Awesome Hour.
Holy Twin Powers, activate!
Hey everyone, Scooby-Doo here with another video. How'd you like that intro? I'm going to try out different intros, not necessarily to keep, but just to be funny and kind of change things up. So in one of my other videos I'd mentioned that I wanted to get the Hot Toys Sand Trooper that's going to be coming out this month, but I needed to make room on my Star Wars wall. And so that's what I'm doing. And also I am theming a few other of my shelves like I did the Boba Fett. And this particular shelf here, this is the one that held the R2 unit, and it also held C-3PO, which he's not here, but oh, there he is. He's right over there. Here he is. Now this C-3PO is going to be changed out for the Hot Toys Sideshow one that's coming out as well. I don't think that one's coming out until maybe January. It was supposed to be out in November, but I guess they had something wrong with the production or things got held up. So I will be getting a new C-3PO. And what I decided to do with a lot of my shelves is to make the terrain in which they came from, although they were in many different scenes. I'm going to be redoing the Tatooine scene with both of them. So I'm going to make this shelf, just like the Boba Fett, a Tatooine shelf. And to do so, I'm going to use the molded scene plaster, which I used in my other video. But this time I'm actually going to show you, me putting it on. Where before I just kind of told you what I was using and then it was done. So we're going to start off with some molded scene. You're supposed to measure, but I really don't measure it. I just kind of put some in. Kind of like a powdery, flaky kind of material. And then I'm going to add some water. But before I do that, I should have it something to stir it up with. So let me get this. Add some water. Ooh, yummy. Now how much water? I don't know. Just so it looks like it's enough. If not, I'll just add some more moldacine. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this up. Takes a minute or two for it to kind of thicken. And then I'm going to apply it to my shelf. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera just for a minute so I can finish stirring this up so I don't have to do everything one-handed. And I shall return in just a moment. Alright, so I got it to the consistency I want it. Kind of like a mushy oatmeal, and I'm just gonna stick it on the shelf. You can see this still a little bit watery. That's okay. This stuff is very, very forgiving. Got some more of it on there. And so what I'm gonna do now is, after I get it all on here, I'm gonna smooth it out and I'm gonna contour it how I want the shelf to look. So now I'm gonna pause the camera again because obviously I can't do this one-handed. It's just very simple. Again, just cold water mixed with the plaster, stir it up, and you just put it down. Alright, so I'm going to pause the camera yet again. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this whole shelf, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I got all the plaster down, and you're noticing like, oh geez, that looks terrible. No, it's going to come out good. Actually, I put a couple of footprints here for the C-3PO. And then I also put down some areas where his back feet are going to go. Plus also there's some L brackets that I have that are going to be reattached to the shelf. Now what will happen is after this dries, I'll actually put a little bit of paint on it. And then I will use sand, just like this. And I will also use some adhesive spray glue. And with that I'll be able to cover up any areas where you can still see the actual shelf. Side note, when you're working with this plaster stuff, do not clean the cup or the holder that you're using it in your sink. Go take it outside because you don't want to get this stuff inside of your plumbing. So we're going to go ahead and let that dry. And then I'm going to show you too really quickly. I'm doing a lot of stuff today. I already started setting the wall up. As you can see over here, I've already moved over one of the shelves and patch up the area where those shelves were. I'm going to be putting a nice fresh coat of paint on there and prep it for the new locations for the different shelves so I can make room for not only the Sand Trooper, but I'm also going to be getting the Jawas. They're going to be coming out, I believe, in April of next year. So I'm just prepping for all that right now. So we're going to go ahead and let that stuff dry. And once this gets all dry, we'll go ahead with the next step. I'll talk to you guys in a little bit, probably a couple hours or so. Alright, so it's had a chance to dry. Not completely dry. Now most times with this stuff you're going to want to wait probably at least 24 hours because you can actually paint this and you can actually sculpt it and use sandpaper if you want as well. But for this particular application, this is dry enough. I'm going to go ahead and add the sand to it because I have a bunch of other stuff to do, and it could do a lot of its drying back up on the wall itself. So with that said, oh, also too, you'll notice that there's some screws right here. That's because I'm going to use these brackets here to help support the shelf. Now most of my other shelves on my wall, they're all floating shelves. They don't have any additional support other than the I don't know what you want to call them. I'll show you right here really quickly. You see the wood, I don't know, arms that the shelf fits onto. Most of the times, that's all you need. If you're going to go within, say, maybe 6 inches, maybe 8 at the most, coming out this way. This particular shelf is 12, so it really does need the extra support, especially since I'm adding this and the R2 is very heavy. So I'm going to go ahead and add the extra support. And so I wanted to have the holes secured before I start putting glue and sand down and then not be able to find the holes. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those in. And I'm going to go ahead and apply some glue. It's just adhesive glue. I'm sure you can use any kind. This is just what they had at Walmart. And you just want to go ahead and just spray it over the area. And also too, you can see where I masked off the side of the shelf because there was no need to get glue on that. Put the glue in there. And then I'm going to take my sand, which is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle it over it. It's just going to kind of stick to where I put the glue. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. I'm going to do a couple layers and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Alright. Alright, so I got the rest of the sand on there how I wanted to. Put a little bit more right here. Now I will let this dry for a few hours. And then once I finish with that, I'll actually take it outside and knock off any of the loose sand. Now one thing I'm really not good with reading directions, and I just kind of go off my own little thing. When you're using this stuff, when you are done spraying, make sure you tilt it upside down like this and let all the gooey stuff come out of it until you just get air. That'll keep the nozzle clear for the next time when you use it. Actually, a tip. Alright, so that's going to dry. I also have the paint drying on the wall. So I'm going to let that dry for a couple hours and then we'll come back and get this bad boy back up on the shelf. Talk to you in a little bit. And now, my favorite part, actually being all cleaned up. Well, there's a lot of stuff to clean up. But we got all finished. You can hear R2 in the other room. He's all excited about his new shelf. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how it came out. Yeah, you love it, R2, don't you? Hey, R2. Do you know Princess Leia? Ah, I forgot the commands. So, as you can see here, I redid the wall, lowered the X-Wing, moved over the Chewbacca and the 2 Stormtroopers, actually added the little walkie-talkie comlink. Also moved over the Bespin antenna. Luke's now going to be up on top. And on to R2 and his sand display. See, it came out pretty good. I decided not to put the C-3PO up. I'm just going to wait for the new one. And now, in this area is where I'm going to be putting my 2 other shelves with my Sand Trooper and hopefully next year, hopefully the Jawas. Yeah, you'll have some more people to play with. Alright, so there you go. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this will be the end of the super duper awesome Scooby-Doo hour. Talk to you guys later.